Good afternoon, wee potato chips. It's Paddy from across the shuck. How you doing? And this is your Friday. You pick the knife, and this is the knife we have left for the last. This is the last of the three, and this was a custom knife that you want to leave there. And I'm not surprised at it because an awful lot of people. This is not available to buy, but it's one of my knives, and I like showing them off. And so, what have you got? First of all, you have seen the thumbnail, and it's of this beautiful little polar bear. How flippin' cute. Let me just see. Oh, there you go. How flippin' cute is that little polar bear? I just look. I'm not going to tell you I went for this because it's got nice blade steel, and it has, or nice ebony scales, which it has. Lovely stainless steel bolsters, liners, and pins. None of that. I wanted this because of that. Now, is that not knife madness? And like, this is about a £200 knife, 200 plus. So this is a custom maker, and it's John H. Lloyd. John H. Lloyd, there we go. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. John H. Lloyd, who's an American custom maker, and he makes this beautiful knife. And I'll have to say, I love the blade. Look at that clip. You know, it's definitely a clip, but it is elongated a little bit, you know, like the Turkish clip or a California clip, but it's just, and there's going to be marks all over these. Sorry, I can't be bothered putting the white gloves on, but isn't that just beautiful? It's a very simple, straightforward knife. Listen to that snap on it. It is just beautiful. So I'll take you a wee walk around the knife, shall I, first, and then we'll talk a wee bit more about it. The blade is lovely, sits lovely down. Bolster's beautiful, symmetrical, lovely back on it. Beautifully done. Lovely termination at the back there. I love to see a nice straight termination. There's your blade centering, which is, it's a wee bit off to the right, but that doesn't rub, so I don't care. You get this gorgeous clip. Look at that clip. Isn't that just beautiful? And you've got a swedge on the other side as well. I'm not keen when you get a swedge on one side and not the back, because it sort of leaves the back looking very plain and unattractive. I love it when they go to the effort and put the swedge on both sides. But it is just a beautiful clip. How long is it? You know, it's a good length of a blade, isn't it? We'll do the measurements in a minute, but just to let you see, it's thin blade stock. It's very thin behind the edge. Look at that. It just disappears into the camera. It is so thin. It cuts like a dream. And with that pokey stabby bit, it just goes in the packages and rips through. Now, that's the only thing I've used it on. And it's the only thing it'll ever get used on, let's be honest. You know, this is never going to be a hard use carry. But to have that little polar bear, listen to this, beautiful snap. That beautiful polar bear on it. That is honestly one of the most attractive shields, or whatever you want to call it. It's just gorgeous. It's so well done. And the closer I bring it up, there isn't a gap. That's inset in there. And there isn't a gap or anything, nothing. It's just beautiful. And in the wood, that's quite hard to do. That takes an awful lot of a man's time to do. So yes, it is an expensive knife. And it looks an incredibly small knife, but you know, it's not. There you go. It's over 3 inches because it goes, you know, it goes across my palm. I'm about 3.5 inches, but it's not 3.5. But it's very close. You know, I think it's 3.25. But here, look, let's have a wee measurement. Let's get the tools out and have a wee measurement and see what it is. Exactly. It is. Oh, it's 3.5. There you go. It's 3.5 inches long. It just, when you pick it up, it's such a slim profile. It does not look that long. 3.5 inches there. And what is the blade? The blade is literally just under 3 inches. So it's UK legal. And the cutting edge is 2.5. And that's perfect. I mean, but it genuinely looks small. And I've got a couple of comparison knives here to show you at the side that I think will make you believe just how, you know, it's not small. It's a good size knife. Here is the GEC boy's knife. And would you believe it, that this little knife here is actually a little bit longer than the boy's knife. Longer in the cutting edge as well. I mean, well, there's not that much in it, but it just doesn't look it when you set it down there. And if I set this down there, this looks like a much more substantial knife. And it is, suppose, substantial as in the materials, but they'll both do exactly the same job. You'd have no worries using this whatsoever. There is nothing as far as movement goes. Nothing. It's solid. It is absolutely just a beautiful knife. And, yes, I would carry this. I mean, I would carry this going to somewhere fancy. And let me just see, there's no other markings on it, but it's just a gorgeous knife. I'm really, really happy with it. And I got this knife, as I do an awful lot of I've got 3 customs from this young man here. This is Congi's Knife Sales over on Facebook. Over and visit him. There's some other details. I traded in one of my other customs for this. I think I've done so much trading, and this last couple of months, just to build up this collection that I've got now, which if I never get another one, I'm blessed. Do you know what I mean? I have a fantastic collection of knives. And now, again, most of them are slip joints now. But when you get something like this, how can you not feel? I mean, that is a full 4-finger grip without a problem, so I can do any sort of cutting that I want if I wanted to. It'll probably open up a couple of packages, and that's as far as it'll go. Slice paper, because I love slicing paper just for the fun of it. So there you go. There's it with the TC Barlow. That's a GEC boy's knife, which is a good size knife. That'll do me as an EDC knife, and this would probably do as well, except it's a wee bit more expensive, twice the price of that. Here's another knife I'm going to stick down beside her. There is the little Boker Barlow. You can come to the conclusion I love Barlows, by the way. This is a Boker Barlow, which is a bit smaller, and it's a bit smaller than the boy's knife as well. And the Case Barlow is in that bracket. It's just a little bit. It's about nearly the same size as the Boker. But there's 4 comparisons of knives you could use to do any work. I don't need to use this on everyday tasks, but I would use them 3 on everyday tasks without a problem. Without a problem. So we'll take them out of the way. So would you pay for a knife, £200 odd for a knife for a polar bear? That's all, Paddy. Just pay for the polar bear. My wife doesn't think I'm sane whatsoever. She would lock me up quite happily. But to me, it's just the whole thing about the knife, everything about it is just, you feel nothing. And you see, rubbing your hand straight over that, you just feel nothing. It is so beautiful, all the corners, everything about it. This man, Mr. Lloyd, has just spent a boatload of time on making this as good as he can make it and putting that shield in there. It's gorgeous. I can honestly say I sit and stroke it like it's we'll just leave it there. I sit and stroke it. It's beautiful. And I hope you like seeing these things, because I really like showing them off. Because, if you can't show off something that's nice and, brings you joy, I don't know how people don't have channels that like knives. I mean, the biggest part of my joy is sharing what I've got with you lot out there. It really is. So there you go. That's the one for today. It's a quick one, because you'll see this plenty of times coming out again on my channel. It's a beautiful, beautiful knife, and I'm very blessed and lucky to have it. And as far as polar bears go, listen to that snap. It's gorgeous. That is a shield I will find very hard to beat. And the other thing is, it's like a polar bear. I know this is silver, but a polar bear is white on the outside and it's got black skin. There's a little bit of knowledge from Paddy. So it sort of represents the polar bear better than you would think, just nothing. It's white on the outside and the polar bear has black skin. So there you go. Something new if you didn't know that. Take care, everybody. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea. Thank you so much for watching.